Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over the same method as what we did for our rustic patina mica tumbler. However, I'm going to show you this time how to use a chip paintbrush rather than using a shaker top on your micas. I know most of them don't conveniently come with a shaker top, so I thought it would be nice to give you a full tutorial on how to apply those micas in an alternative way. So on this mug from the Still Magnolia, I have went back and forth between hammered metal spray paint from Rust-Oleum and the blackout black spray paint from Color Shot. You can see how I painted them by checking out the last tutorial I did using this method, and I will also have that linked below for y'all. I added in filter from COLORFLEX just to add in a little bit of shimmer to our epoxy, and did a little bit more epoxy over this mug than what I would for glitter application, so maybe 1.5 to 2 milliliters of epoxy for this entire tumbler. The micas that we are using are all from PDB Creative Studio, and those micas are SPACENIK, LOLLI, STILLETTO, PIXIE, and MOJITO. And as you see, I have my chip brush here, and I'm just barely dabbing that chip brush down into my micas, knocking off a little bit of the excess so I won't get too big of clumps on my cup. I'm holding the paintbrush about 6 to 8 inches away from the cup and tapping it very lightly to release those micas from the paintbrush. And I'm going to do that with each of these micas until I feel like I have enough of this tumbler covered and enough color on here. I really wanted to add just a little extra to this tumbler, so I grabbed PIXIE, and it really is light. So it kind of floated through the air more than it did stick to my tumbler. So I think if I were to do this over again, I would add PIXIE into my next layer of epoxy once this dries, and it would give the same effect as I was intending to have here. You're going to want to allow this to dry completely and then go in with a brush and brush off the excess micas, or you can take it as is and spray seal that with a matte clear coat and then give it another coat of epoxy before you go in with your decals. I have this decal from Gracefully Created, and I thought that I would like it just as a really simple decal on this tumbler, but after applying it, I really felt like it was too plain. So luckily, all of the decals from Gracefully Created are printed on removable vinyl, so I can easily remove this, put it back on its backing, and then reuse it for a later time for a different design. We come out with these florals with Gracefully Created as well around Valentine's Day last year, and I still had half a sheet left from the tumbler that I made back then. So I thought, why not add the little Scully and all of those pretty flowers onto this tumbler. These decals are obviously white on the back, however they do have a clear border, which means they're going to show up on any shade of glitter or spray paint that you put them on top of. You just still do want to put them on a glossy surface, and you want to do your best to avoid touching the clear portion of the decal so you don't leave fingerprints underneath that. That's going to show after you epoxy your tumbler or project that you're working on. Once you have all of your decals on, there is no need to spray seal. You can go directly into adding on your final layers of epoxy. Of course, always wear your respirator when working with epoxy and gloves to protect yourself. Anytime I'm epoxying a tumbler with a handle, I try to add some of that epoxy to my tumbler, and then while it is really thin or I don't have a lot running around on the tumbler, I work on the handle to make sure that I have it coated really well and that there is no epoxy bunching down at the bottom of the handle. I know this was super similar to the other tumbler that we did, but I wanted to show you the different ways to apply these micas and this sort of splatter effect. So if you don't have those 3 beautiful micas that we used in the previous tutorial, or if you want to use a different color, now you know how. I hope y'all have enjoyed this simple tutorial. If you have any questions, just drop them down below for me and I'll answer them as quickly as possible. All materials I have used will be listed in the description below, as well as some coupon codes for you. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.